The dire scenario that black men find themselves in is nothing new, dating back to almost 200 years before this country was founded. At various times throughout our struggle, heroes emerged to move us collectively closer to a better tomorrow. Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois, Martin Luther King Jr., and Malcolm X were no more or less human than either one of us, but found a way to elevate our experience. Just like those heroes in times past, the heroes of today walk among us. They are our coaches, chefs, artists, and developers. They are our politicians and police. If there ever was a time when we needed a hero, it's now. This is the hero of 1,000 faces.
My name is Sterling Thompson. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. Completed high school in Memphis, went on there to Tougaloo College, received a bachelor's degree in biology, graduated, left Tougaloo, and then went on to graduate school at Wayne State University. And after a year at Wayne State, spent a little time, 2 years in the military. And then after the military, came back to go to graduate school, but started graduate school at Michigan State University and finished a master's degree and a PH.D. degree in food science and human nutrition. Following graduation, I was offered a position at the Hershey Company, and I retired from the Hershey Company after 30 years in 2015. Had a very good career. I was able to travel worldwide. Had an outstanding group of individuals that work with me. I say with me, not for me, because we work together. So I was a manager of 19 people originally, and then when I left, I had about 10 people that I managed. So I had an outstanding career. I have no regrets in terms of the experience. I probably would not have experienced some of the things that I did experience had I not gone to Hershey. So I value that experience quite a bit. 2 years ago, I began to work on the executive board for Big Brothers Big Sisters. So I've been doing that, and I really enjoyed that because that gives me an opportunity indirectly to help urban kids in terms of matching and providing resources for them. Yeah, there's a big need for bigs, to work with littles. And this particular Big Brothers Big Sisters segment in the Capitol in Pennsylvania, in Harrisburg. They've done some great work. Right now they have a couple of projects going on, which is beyond the school walls, whereby they work directly with companies, and companies will take on the responsibility for bringing young kids into the business sector, just to show them, what happens there. They get introduced to people who work there in different disciplines, and they find out what the real world is like before they have to get out into the real world, in order to work. And that's been pretty good. That's a very young program. And then they started something about a year ago, Bigs in Blue, where they're working with police departments around Harrisburg, Lancaster, Hershey, some of the townships. And I think that can make a difference in terms of the response, interacting with kids who are in the urban center, in terms of kids that they probably would not interact with, except probably in a negative situation. So by working with these kids now, that negative situation can be turned into a positive situation. And it's less likely that one of these kids would be involved in a situation whereby they would come face to face with a police officer and something negative could really hurt and could cost them their lives. I think it gives the police force, the police officers, a better opportunity to learn and know about our kids, to interact with them and just talk, because they come from different situations. And some of these situations, these police officers sort of know about sort of peripherally, But to really work with the kid, to have that kid that you're big for, and to find out where they live, the situation that they're coming from, the mother or father, if they have a mother and father, could be on drugs, they could be homeless, and all those things impact how a kid's going to respond to any situation, school, authority, etc. So I think that's probably a program that hopefully will go across the country, and many police forces will begin to participate in that, and there will be a change, and maybe they won't fear us as black men like they do now.
Hi, I'm Michael Anderson, producer with Heroes of a Thousand Faces. If you like the program that you're viewing, subscribe to this channel and like us on Facebook. Now, let's get back to the program.
Because when I look back at the guys that I used to hang out with, and with 5 of us, that we would always be together. If you saw one, you saw the rest of us. And when I look back, 2 of them became ministers. And I became I taught school at Michigan State for 4 years before I went to Hershey, but became a professional. And then one of them died of a drug overdose, and the other one passed away, not as a result of drugs, but some other complications that he had. So each of those individuals said to me that you're somebody that you're capable of accomplishing something if you put the hard work into it. It's not going to be easy. It's just not going to come to you because, you say you're somebody, but you got to work at it. You got to work hard at it. And if you work hard enough, you'll appreciate it. And you'll make a difference in whatever field or whatever area that you're in. Whether it's educational, whether it's business, whether it's technical, you'll be able to make a difference. And I think based upon those experiences, I made a difference. History is very important. Black history to me is even more important. Because if you don't know history, you don't know your own history, then you're destined to make mistakes that you probably would not make if had you known history. Every chance we get, we would introduce them. We took them on vacation to a museum, to a historically black college or university, and we would talk about things in the country, in that part of the country, or something that occurred at that university. And where we both went to school at Tougaloo, that was the hub of the civil rights in Mississippi, because we had students who were part of the sit-ins in Jackson, Mississippi, going to churches on Sundays and then getting arrested for trying to go to church, an all-white church. It's like, what is this? You can't worship together, and so the civil rights leaders used to come to Tougaloo, Stokely Carmichael, Rap Brown, Martin Luther King, and we would have events there, and you go to the chapel and you listen to these people talk about, and they all had a different message. And some of the messages were more like sort of not nonviolent, like Martin Luther King. And you made a decision. Who do you choose to follow? Who do you choose to want to say, this is the person that I respect, or this is the person that is going to make a difference? They all made a difference in their own way, and they were all looking for individuals to march. I often tell, in fact, I was telling some of my fraternity brothers a couple of weeks ago about an experience that I had in Mississippi, because the first project I had was to register people in Mississippi to vote. And this is in the 1960s, okay? And we did it at night because we couldn't do it during the day. And at nighttime, people generally are reluctant to open the door anyway. But when you tell them that, you want to register them to vote, or you say, are you registered to vote? The door will not open, you know. And it was the first time I had ever driven a stick shift car. I had a Volkswagen Bug, and we had to drive down the streets in Jackson, Mississippi with the lights out so they wouldn't draw attention to us. You know, if we saw a car coming, we would simply pull over and stop to make sure it wasn't a police car. And many doors were unopened, or they would open the door and would say, I'd love to, but I can't. I lose my job, or something will happen, that they just didn't want to take the risk. And that was the first experience I had with our people in a situation whereby they were so afraid in order to take the step that is guaranteed to all of us, the right to vote, to register and the right to vote. And so when I hear about things that are happening in Washington, D.C. with these various bills that they're trying to pass about voter ID and those kinds of things, it's like, there is no problem, you know? There's no voter fraud if you look at it, really. And how anybody can make the statement and then think that that statement is factual without having facts. And it's simply another way to prevent our people from exercising their right to vote. And I think that's a horrible thing for this country to do.